Hi, it's Mike at Phase 1 DJ Store. Got a product I'd like to show you today. Now this could possibly be, if not be, the most complicated video I've ever had to do. And that's why I've brought him. Mr. American DJ, Ian is with us. Hello Ian.
Hi, how are you doing Mike, you alright?
Not so bad. Right,
good.
We've got this, the Wi-Fi NE1. Apparently, DMX for dummies.
Pretty much, yeah. So
I'm going to be able to use this.
Yeah. Hopefully by the end of this you'll be able
to... By the end of this, I'm going to be able to use this.
And you'll be off, yeah.
Good, I hope so. In a nutshell, what is this piece of equipment?
It's basically a lighting desk for NE1. That's why they call it the Wi-Fi NE1. So in effect, it's got all the sort of built-in effects inside the desk. With a normal DMX desk, you have to either sort of put faders up and move heads to positions, things like that.
So we have to do step 1, step 2, step 3,
you
step 4.
have to create a lot of steps, and it's a little more complicated. If you go down the software route, like the MyDMX2 or the MyNextBuddy, that's got the effects generation built in, but again, you've got to use a laptop. So if you're using Virtual DJ on a laptop or whatever, and you then want to run this lighting software, you might be able to run, run two laptops. Together. So this will do very much what the software will do, but in a hard desk. What you can also then do is do things on the fly. You can change colours while you're in the middle of a show, that sort of thing. But it's got all the effects built in, so it'll do colour chases for your par cans, it will do moving head movements, and it will also do things like you can pick your colours off. So if you're using a quad phase HP, you can pick the white out and just have it rotate slowly, rather than just being sound to light and jumping around. You can also access the inbuilt shows on some of our fixtures, so you can then make them go sound to light as well. So you can do a lot of cool stuff with it.
Will this work with anybody's DMX fixtures? It
will. So, first things first, it's fixed DMX with a cable out the back, or it's wireless, hence the Wi-Fi bit. So it'll work with all of our Wi-Fi bits. We actually have a receiver, which is the Wi-Fi battery, that will take the signal out onto your lighting rig and then send it down the line.
Perfect.
When you get the fixtures in the first place, you download all the fixtures from our website and put it onto it, and we'll show you that in a second, how to do that. It's fairly straightforward.
That's loading the profiles.
You load the profiles onto the desk, so it's blank at the moment. It doesn't know what it's controlling, so you tell it what you want it to control. If it's not available, you can then go onto the profile creator on the computer and just say, right, I've got a moving head from X manufacturer, and you get the profile out of the book, and you just say, right, you match that onto the software, and you drop the stick in and say, right, that's now my profile for my light, and it should then control it. What we have found, and we're discovering already, we've got a group on Facebook for the Wi-Fi NE1, is people are taking our standard profiles and then they're customising it to what they want it to do. So if they don't like using the buttons, they can use the rotation wheels for gobos and that sort of thing. And you can make them up and you can completely change the profile as you want it to do. So it's not finished, it's a growing product. And there's people out there now in the community, within a week of it launching, there's loads of people out there just going, right, I've made a new profile for spot, I've made a new profile for this, I've made a new profile. And you can just download profiles, have a play with it, see if it suits your functionality, because we make them for what we think it should be, but you might want it differently, so you can then customise it with the software as well.
Excellent.
It's great.
Right, so what we're going to do in this video is, one, we're going to show you how to get the profiles onto the unit and where we download them from.
Yeah.
And we're going to take some photos and some screenshots on the computer.
Yeah.
Then we're going to take it into the lighting room and we're going to have a play around, try and build a little show up and have a go with that. So we're going to chop this video up into little bits. It's going to be a little bit complicated. We might get it wrong, but then we're going to put it right, and then it's usual Phase 1 style. It'll be fine, it'll be fine. Because Ian's here and it's going to be alright. But by the time we're finished here, what we're going to have here at the shop is we're going to leave one of these actually on demonstration. Yeah. And you'll be able to come down and see us at any time, and we're going to be doing DMX in the shop, which is something I haven't been doing. I'm very much a plug it in and let's have a go. Yeah. But now with this, I think I might embrace DMX.
Yeah.
I might embrace DMX. This might be a new mic. It's Mike at Phase 1.
Right then, let's get this thing started. What we're going to do first of all is we're going to do the download and we're going to put it onto the memory stick. So in the box when you get the unit out, you'll also get a memory stick. The memory stick, the one we've pulled out today, has got 2 profiles on it. So you're going to need to download all the profiles for all of the ADJ fixtures off the website. So if you go to the American DJ website, americandj.com, obviously normally we use EU, but on the .com is the American site and they've got all the profiles ready to go. You'll find you're on this bit, which is the there we go, Wi-Fi NE1. So as you scroll down the screen, we'll drop down here, there's the product description, and there's all the specs, that sort of thing. They have got some videos on there already. Mike's not the only one in the world doing them, but this one hopefully will be the best one. And then in the download section you've got the profiles for the NE1, got the user manual if you need it, you've got the profile creator instructions to show you how to use it, and the profile creator as well. Download everything, you've got the manual, the lot. So you click on the download section and then download it to your PC. Once you download it to your PC, you will get, if we can find the right one, there we go, you'll get a file. Now I've adjusted this one, but it will say ADJ, oh, let's go back, ADJ-NE1 fixture list. Now the desk can't read that file as it is. It needs to be deleted, so it says ADJ-NE1. When that file's downloaded, it's also a zip file. You'll need to unzip it, WinZip, something like that will unzip it. And then once you've got it on your computer, these are the files you'll get. So you'll have the ADJ-NE1 file. If you go inside that file, these are all the different profiles for Crazy 8, for the Cobb cannons, all that sort of thing. It's all in there, ready to go. So what I then need to do is I need to copy that file. Okay, and then we will go to our external disk, which is our Kingston drive, which is the one that's come with it. And then I've already got it there, but if I just go paste, replace all those files, so it's an up-to-date file version, that will then now load those files onto that memory stick. So we're nearly there. Once that's done, like I said, just ensure, the important thing is ADJ-NE1. That is the file name. If it isn't file name that, it won't load onto the desk and it won't read it. So now we've got the memory stick done, let's go onto the desk and put them onto the... Right then, so we've downloaded all the fixtures onto our little memory stick here, and we've stuck this into the top of the Wi-Fi NE1. What we're going to do now is we're going to put the fixtures onto the desk, and then we're going to patch the lights into the desk so we can say which fixture is what. So first of all then, in the menu setup here, you've got a setup button. Hold down the setup key, and then we've got our main library. You can scroll through up and down with this dial here and click it to enter the menus. So first at the top you can see there, load light library. So let's click in there, and that's now reading the disk and it's showing all of these fixtures. Now you've got two choices. You can load all of the light library. There's 154 patches. If I click now, that will load them all and it will take a while. We know in that other room we've got the Spot Pro, the Pocket Beam, we've got the Tri-Pars, and we've got the Wi-Fi Pass. So let's go and find those fixtures and just put the ones we want on. So as you scroll down, we've now got, first of all, let's go Wi-Fi Par QA5. Now in the manual you'll see there's loads of different variations. So Wi-Fi Par QA5 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6, the 5, etc. is how many channels you're going to control. So in this case we're going to use it in 6-channel mode. If I click that, that's operation complete. That's now loaded that light fixture onto this desk. So let's go searching for the next one. Let's go to Pocket. I think we're up here, Pocket Beam. So IPB is Pocket Beam. If you don't know what the abbreviations are, don't worry, it's in the manual. You just go into the back and it'll tell you all the abbreviations. And then when you make your own up, you abbreviate how you want. So the Pocket Beam has 3 modes, 10, 11 and 13 channel mode. We're going to use it in 13 channel mode. So we found the 13 channel mode. Again, that's loaded onto the desk. Now I want the Spot Pro. So Spot Pro, it only has a 14 channel mode. Spot Pro 14, load that, that's job done. Tri-Pars, there isn't a profile for that because they've done it for the new Tri-Par Profile Plus. However, we're only going to use it in RGB mode. So let's see if we can find an RGB mode. RGB, that's the right one. Load that, that's up. So that is now in the desk. To all intents and purposes I can send the memory stick out, but we'll leave it in there for now. Press the escape to go back a page. I can delete my light libraries and all sorts of other stuff. Now I'm going to patch my lights. What I'm doing by patching the lights is I'm saying, right, when I press fixture number 1, I want a certain fixture to start to work. So in this instance, let's patch library. So these are the fixtures that I've just loaded onto the desk. There's 4 different types. Let's start off with the Pocket Beams, 13 channel mode. Click the Pocket Beam, tells me what address it's going to start at. I'll press the fixture button there. That's what fixture I want at number 1. Click that again. That's processed, operation complete. Fixture 1 is now a Pocket Beam. I want to control the 2 pocket beams separately. So fixture 2 is also going to be a pocket beam. Click there. It tells me the next address is going to be channel 14, but we'll go back into that bit in a second so you can address your fixtures. Operation complete. So now fixtures 1 and 2 are pocket beams. So now then, number 3, let's go with the pocket spot, InnoSpot Pro. Number 3, load that in. Tells me it's going to be addressed at 27, that's absolutely fine. Here we go. Operation complete. Now then, the RGB cans, let's put them as number 4. 41, no problem. Loaded. And last but not least, we have our Wi-Fi pars. We'll put them at number 5. Select the fixtures. They'll be addressed at 44. Loaded. Done. Okay. So now we've loaded all of the fixtures into the desk. If I go back now, I'll take you through a couple of other little features. You can edit the light library. Set Wi-Fi channel and set Wi-Fi power. To be able to send the signal, you'd use the normal DMX on the back, but for this demonstration we're going to use Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi power. Switch that on. You'll see the green light come on. Now our Wi-Fi is ready to go. If I go to the Wi-Fi channel, set it as channel 1, and now my little Wi-Fi battery, I will set that channel 1 and it will now receive the signals off this desk. You've also got the bits where you can save the data off your file off your desk to USB. You can delete all the memories, that sort of thing, telling it tells you about the firmware version. You can passcode the desk. It comes with a preset passcode. If you then go into there, you can change that so nobody else can mess about with your settings. That's pretty much all that. The other thing as well, little one here, strobe settings. You've got a latch or a flash option. If I hold down the strobe button in this mode, it will strobe. As soon as I let go, it will carry on back to normal. If I go into the latch mode, when I press that button, it will latch on and continually strobe until I press the strobe button to take the strobe off again. So there's a little bit of there where you can just adjust the strobe settings if you want to as well. I think that's us. So what I'm going to do now, hold down the setup button to get out. So now on the left hand side I've got my fixture button highlighted. If I press fixture number 1, that shows me it's an Inno pocket beam on 13 channel mode. It's address number 1, channels 13. If I now go over to my pocket beam and set the address as 1 and the channels as 13, I now have control of that fixture. Number 2 is the same fixture again, but address 14, so I'm controlling that separately, and so forth. There's my InnoSpot Pro. You probably saw a little flash because it's moving around in the background as we've loaded it up. InnoSpot Pro in 14 channel mode, address 27, channels 14. There's my RGBs, 3 channel mode, and finally my Wi-Fi pars. So now the desk is ready for me to start taking control of the lights. So let's take it in the room and let's start playing with some lights. Right then, so we've patched all our lights. Now I'm going to show you from a top-down view as to what the buttons can do and how you can access the fixtures, profiles and the settings. Obviously then we're going to do a video with the camera showing the desk and the lights at the same time, so you won't be able to see this angle. So this is the time now where I'm going to show you a quick little bit of what this can do. So we've just patched our lights, so let's start off with a simple par cam. Let's go fixture number 4. Now then, you can see on the screen it says RGB, address 41, channels 3. If I press the colour button here, I can then go colour, and you can see the colours changing. There will be 2 different pages of colours, so as I press those, the colours change on the cans. If I click here to the right, I can then access another bank of colours. So there's 24 colours in total built into the desk. If I press the escape button, it always jumps back out and I can start again. So let's put that par cam back on again. If I don't want to use the built-in colours, I can access the inbuilt RGB settings. If I hold down the dial here, it gives me access to the full profile of what that light can do. In this case it's very simple, red, green, blue. I can now turn the dials and you can see the numbers going up for red. And if I put a bit of blue in, that will turn purple. Again, in the next video we'll show you that live as we're turning the dials, what the cans are doing. So that's a simple way of running a light. If I go back out again, let's go for fixture number 3, which was our InnoSpot Pro. So there we go. In the background the light's whizzing around because it's actually live now using the wireless. It tells me my address and everything else. Now if I press colour, I can then go colour and I will see the colours change on the head itself. If I press the gobo, I can then again access the different gobos built in. Once I've picked the colour and the gobo that I want, press the effect key. If I press number 1 for example, that then puts a, I don't know, figure of 8 or a loop, whatever the effect is. There's 12 different effects. You can see on the screen now I've got speed, phase, size and direction, which associates with these 4 dials here. So if I turn the speed up, the movement of the effect is increased in speed and it goes faster around. Slow it back down again. I can then change the size of the effect, so I can take it right down so it moves in a smaller circle. If I turn it right up, I can make it go in massive circles or figure of eights, covering a wider area. If I tilt this, you can see the arrow jump left to right. That means it just reverses the direction of the movement. And finally, if I'm using multiple heads, you can then do what we call a phasing. So you can phase out the lights. So if you've got two heads moving in a figure of eight, identical, you can then make one tumble before the other and get like a nice tumble effect, chase effect. So if you had the heads moving up and down only, they would all move up and down at the same time. If you put a phase in, you'd then get sort of a Mexican wave type effect. So all that is built into the desk, easy to set up. So to build a show, it's very straightforward. You go into your fixtures. So say for example, you go into your parkans, you go into your colour and set your colour for the room. So let's go with colour 8, which is a pink. Done. Go back into your fixtures, switch your cans off. They will still stay on the same colour they were on before, and then you can then access, say, your InnoSpot Pro, and then you can say, right, let's go in and put a colour in and everything else. Then press the effect button and set an effect. With the InnoSpot Pro, it's got a lot more features than your average moving head. So in terms of colours and go boards, it's very simple setup. If you want to go into the detail, let's go fixture, yep. Hold down the dial here. You've got your pan and tilt effects, which is done off here anyway. If you jump across, turning across, you've then got your colours, your gobos, your gobo rotation and your prism. So if you turn that up, you can throw the prism in. You can then rotate your gobos with this at different speeds as you turn it up and slow it down. You can then go into the next one and rotate the prism. And if you're pointing it into a certain angle, which will show you the next piece, you can then adjust the focus so you get a nice crisp focused gobo rather than, you know, a bit of a fuzzy one. So that tells you everything that you can access within that fixture. Obviously shutter and dimmer are always up at 255. Sometimes you load a profile in, the shutter may be at 0, so you might put the light on and there's no light coming out. You go into this menu and you adjust your shutter. So if I take the shutter down, it will start to strobe. If I take it back up, it will go into full. So that's all you need to do with this, really, is just to have a play about with it, use it. So once you've created, so in fixture 4 I've put my parkans on, I am now in fixture 3, and let's go into the effect and let's put an effect in. So I've got my moving head moving, got my colours on. Once I've set what I want to do, hold down the memory button number 1, it will say operation complete, and I have now saved what I've just done as work. If I escape out of that, switch it off, if I then press the memory button, it will recall the work I've just done and start to play it again. Then when you start to play about with the settings, you can then hold the memories there. You'll see it says memory 1 to 7, 2 to 8. If I press the escape button, that's now flashing. That means that's now memory number 7 when I press that. That's memory number 8, etc. So you can then access different memories. Okay, that's that one. So let's now take this into the room. Let's show you the lights working with it, and let's show you what we can do with it.
Right, this possibly could be the most complicated video we've ever done here at Phase 1. My head's exploded already. Right, you've got me and Ian here, and we've already shown you how to load some profiles and all the things onto the desk. The next thing is we want it to control these lights up here. And what I've done is I've put an American DJ InnoSpot Pro, I've put 2 Inno Pocket beams, the new Q4s. We've got a couple of power cans here and a couple of battery wireless. Show them the wireless. Look at that, marvellous. Wireless, battery powered, genius, right? And we've got these all working off this little desk. So what we hope to do is with this moving head here, we're going to point it up onto the wall and put a gobo on and get a bit of a movement going on, like. For a wedding, we're going to set a bit of a wedding scene, even though there's going to be no bride, no groom, and no venue. But you'll get what we're on about in a minute. We're going to uplight the room, we're going to have some beam effects going on, and we're going to project the gobo from here onto this wall. I'm not going to do that. He's going to do that because he's teaching me, which in turn should be teaching you. So, next bit of the video, we're going to try and build a light show. Are you happy with that?
Yeah,
good. Let's go for it.
Right then, here we go. So let's set the room. Say we're going to do a wedding, and the brides and groom have asked us to spot the door as they come in for their first dance or whatever. So first thing we want to do is want to uplight the room. So I'm going to go to the fixture button, and I've got 5 different banks of fixtures. Number 1 and number 2 are my little pocket beams. Number 3 is my my Anal Spot Pro at the top, sorry. Number 4 is my tripods, and number 5 is my wireless park hands all around the room. So let's first of all uplight the room. So fixture number 5. Let's go into the colours then. Let's pick a colour. So let's go, we don't usually uplight red, but let's put the red on there because it looks quite cool up on the roof. So that's that bit. I can then use the different buttons to choose the colours, but let's stick with number 1, which is the red. Then we go back into the fixtures. Let's go for fixture number 4, which is our tripods. Now again, we press the colour button again. Let's go and pick a colour. Because we're doing pink, we can actually jump to the second bank of colours here. Number 8 is pink, so there's my pink. That's all nice and sorted. So we've uplit our room, we've set the scene for the room. Now we want to move the big moving head into the place where they're going to walk through. So I'll go back into fixtures, switch the park hands off, and activate my moving head. Now that will jump into its central position, and then I can start to position that. So with the dials here, I've got a pan and a tilt. So if I move that just round a bit there, and then I drop the head down, that is now into position. It's out of focus, so if I hold down the dial in the middle for the extra menus, I can jump through the menus to find the focus. That then becomes this dial here, and I can now turn that, bring the focus in, and now we've got a perfectly focused white spot. If you had 2 or 3 moving heads, you would then pick the different heads and point them into the centre. Now I've set that, that's just the simple, ladies and gentlemen, the bride and groom are entering a room. So let's hold down memory number 1 here. It will say operation complete on the screen, and now we're done. If I hold the escape button, switches everything back off. If I now press number 1, that brings back that setup. So we have the spot in the middle, we have the colours all set, and that's my predetermined first bit for the entrance to the room. So that's that done. Let's take that off. Now then, next bit, let's do maybe, I don't know, the first dance or whatever. So again, fixtures, let's go 4 and 5 together, which is my park hands. Let's go colour, pick a colour. All of them come on the same colour at the same time. So I've activated both sets of park hands at the same time, quick and easy. So that's the first bit done. Now then, what we're going to do is we're going to use numbers 1 and 2, which is our little pocket beams. At the moment they've come on, I have to go in and pick the colour I want. So for the first dance, we're going to pick a white. So I can now either go into the dial here, or if I want to, I can go into colour and pick the colours off here. So let's put it full on. And now then, if I go into the functions again there, I've got my pan and tilt, so I can move that here, and I can move them up to point towards us, which I hope is not too blinding, but there we go. Right, okay, so we're here. So I say that's our dance floor over here. The great thing about this desk is the effects that you're going to generate, once you move the head into the position, the effect will be generated around that position. So this is our dance floor over here. I've now got my beams ready. I press the effect button, and let's go for effect number 1. So now you can see the movement is going across and back up and round. So that's like a circular motion for the moving heads. With the dials, I can then speed that up a little bit, so you can see that whizzing back across. Looks great. What you can then do is you can change the size of the effect, so you can swing it smaller so it just goes around in a smaller circle, or you can then take it right out and make it swing right out across the dance floor. So let's go with a slightly wider angle there. They're all in sync at the moment. You can also, because I've addressed these separately, I can phase them out slightly. So let's put a little phasing in there as well. So there's a slight delay on them, so you can see there the crossing over slightly. Quite nice. So I've now set my park hands, I've now set my little beams. Let's go back into the fixtures and take those off. They'll continue to do what they're doing. Let's now grab hold of the big moving head, and let's now move that and drop it down. Oops, as we judder around a bit. Let's put that, hopefully not too bright across you. Okay, so that will be now points at the dance floor while they're dancing, and then the moving heads are moving around it. That is now my first dance. Hold down memory number 1. Oh, sorry, number 2. and that's now saved. So let's escape and let's go back through that now. So you press number 1 for the entrance, and that loads up straight away. And then when they go for the first dance, press number 2. There's my set, and it's ready to go. It's instant recall. What you can then do, now that show is running, if I want to, I can go back into my fixtures and say, right, let's pick the par cans and let's go into the colours and let's change the colours on the fly while that show is running. So you can instantly change the uplighters, or you can go into the moving head and change its gobo. So if I go fixture number 3, I can press the gobo button, I can put a different gobo inside the head, and you can see that switching as you see at the top of the screen. All that is customizable. Again, you've got your master dimmer down, so you can dim everything right down. Everything carries on moving. You can bring it back up, or you can just black out instantly. The other thing you can do as well is a pause button at the bottom. So while the moving heads are running around, if you need to pause the show for any reason, just press the pause button, the heads will stop. When you unpause it, it will carry on. So we've just created 2 different scenes. You've also got the strobe here as well. If you hold down the strobe button, the lights will strobe, and you can change the strobe rate on the full fader as well on that side. That in effect is how you build basic shows. So we've just done 2 there. You can then go in, there's 12 different effects for the moving heads. There's effects for the par cans, so you can get them to fade. There's also different effects for up and down, that sort of thing, and then you can just create them, customize them, and away you go. One thing I have been asked by a few people, if I switch that off for a second, if I go into my par cans, so let's fixtures, let's go for number 4, which is our 2 par cans facing forward. If you press the colour button and hit the preset colours, it will just come up with standard colours. If you hold down the dial here, it gives you your options for red, green and blue with these 3 dials. So as I turn that up, I've got my red coming in, just green and blue. So if I want to put a purple in, I just turn the blue up, turn that to a purple, and I can customise the colour for the bride. So if you've got a chart on your phone that says you want red at such a value, green at such a value, etc., you can then go in and manually adjust those and put the actual fixtures in to get the exact colour for your uplighters, and then save that as part of your show. I think that pretty much covers some of the basics. We'll go into some more detail in a second if there's anything else we need to.
Do you know what? I think even I could use that.
It's easy enough, isn't it?
It is easy enough. I'm very impressed. Now, I know there's going to be 1,000,001 questions, so by all means, get in touch. We're going to have one of these on demo here. DMX built-in shows. Yes. Using anybody's fixtures. We've used American DJ fixtures here, which is nice and easy because all the profiles are loaded onto the stick. I love the addressing thing where it tells you exactly where the address needs to be.
Yeah, and you just go onto the fixture, type in the address.
Type it in. So I managed to address them myself. Me, yes, you'll be surprised. And Ian has just done, in literally 2 minutes, this little scene here, and he's got that running. I'd like to say thank you very much to Ian for coming down and sharing that with us. It's readily available now. If you want some more information, click the link in the description to this video. It'll go through to our website. One question I have, sound to light?
Yes.
Does it do sound to light?
So the desk hasn't got a microphone in it. Everybody's asked us about sound to light. However, some of the fixtures that ADJ do and other manufacturers do as well will have that inside the DMX. So for example, if you take our NE1 spot LED, you can actually trigger the sound to light for the colours and the gobo. So you can set a movement like this, moving around nicely, and then trigger the gobo to jump with sound to light or colour jump.
So I could have a nice smooth moving movement like this, but the colours will change sound to light because I'll access it.
Yeah, so you can access it in
perfect
stuff. Same again with like something like a quad phase. So we're just using moving heads and par cans. If you've got an effect like, again, I keep harking back to quad phase HP for example, inside that you can jump in and say, right, let's put it on sound to light. You can have it sound to light 1 minute and the next minute you can have it on just a nice slow white fade or whatever. So you can access the different built-in bits plus the sound to light as well. It depends on the fixture and the quality of the DMX settings inside, but ours, most of the stuff has the sound to light functionality built into it.
Brilliant. I'm really impressed with it actually, and we never have a DMX desk set up in this shop. We just don't. But that is going to be on in the shop, and we're going to leave this setup here we've been working on this. The only thing that we probably won't have is some of the cans, but we're going to add some bits in ourselves. Yeah. And we're going to DMX the whole room. Yeah. Using that. That's Michael Phase 1. Thank you very much to Ian.
No worries.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.